Hello, you brilliant little marketing bees. You're tuned into episode 54 of the Marketing Buzzword Podcast.
This is the Marketing Buzzword Podcast, the podcast where we dissect the world's most common marketing buzzwords. Hold on tight. We are about to fly around the beehive to see the latest buzzwords that stuck to the marketing bees.
Hello and welcome to the bite-sized section of the Marketing Buzzword Podcast and project, aptly named Bitesize Buzzword. I'm Ben Roberts, and in these bite-sized snackable episodes, I'm going to help you dive deep into what the specific marketing buzzword actually means, how you decide whether it is or isn't important to your business, and if it is, how you can actually incorporate that buzzword into your marketing strategy. Now, this week we're going to look at the marketing buzzword account-based marketing. One that has been around for a little while now, but still has some really important meanings, and I think it can really benefit a lot of businesses, and it's something that I'm really looking at implementing where I am. Now, what is account-based marketing? So essentially, it's an alternative B2B strategy that really concentrates on a single customer and almost imagining that is a whole market. And it's focused upon mostly for B2B businesses who are looking at high value clients. This isn't necessarily going to be all your clients, but a really small number of really potentially important or lucrative customers. And basically it's about creating sales and marketing resources that have a clearly defined audience with high levels of personalization and really detailed campaigns, just really built to resonate with that single individual or with a specific set of accounts. But remember, almost tailor it to each individual account, because that's one of the big benefits of account-based marketing is. And the messages and the content is really based upon the specific attributes, say, of the business that exists, depending on the channels they're at, the medium, they operate in, their structure, who decision makers are. A lot of these things that you'll have to map out first, which sort of leads me quite nicely into what some of the advantages of account-based marketing are, and then we'll look at some of the errors, and then we'll go into some of the advantages. Now, a couple of the biggest advantages, probably the biggest advantage, is that personalization. Well, no, I don't say it's necessarily the biggest advantage, but the high levels of personalization mean you get a higher reward. People like to be spoken to as an individual, and account-based marketing does that because the content that you're creating is tailored for that individual account. So it shows that you've spent the time, the effort, actually going researching the company, their issues, and the way their business, their industry, and you've helped answer a specific problem, solve a particular issue. Personalization really speaks to people. And with account-based marketing as well, because it's so narrow, and because it's so focused, there is a real clear ROI, and it is highly measurable. It's not like shooting into the wind and hoping that you hit a target. You've literally got it about 2 yards in front of you. You just need to it's just quite a big target, so it's going to take you a few different shots. By different shots, I mean different campaigns, different bits of content, whichever way you do it, but to make sure that you have a massive impact upon that organization. Otherwise, you've got a big target and you just fire one bullet, you're not going to make very much damage. Shoot 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bam, highly personalized, highly specific bullets, then you're going to make some damage. Although this isn't the advantage of it is not that it's going to be broad brushing and you're not going to get a huge amount of customers from it. The fact that I'm trying to think of the right words for this. Essentially, the advantage is that it is so specific, and that although it takes the time, you get the rewards from it. Now, in terms of the barriers and some of the errors that are made with it, is actually it's just not going personal enough, and that's one of the things that I've seen too often with account-based marketing, is that you haven't actually really or even clearly mapped who your audience is. So you're targeting a big Fortune 100, FTSE 100 business, whichever market you're going in. Do you understand the size of that business? Do you understand the market that they operate in, the channels that they use, who the decision makers in? Do they have quite a flat structure to their business? Do they have quite a big pyramid to their business? Who is important and who reports to what and where? This can take time. Some of this isn't always available on the internet, and you have to find different ways of being able to connect with that organization. When you don't go personal enough, your message doesn't resonate. When you don't use people's names, when you don't actually understand their market, you've just created an inbound bit of content and you're sending it out to them in the hope that it will resonate with them. That is not true account-based marketing. That's just inbound marketing. And spending the time, this is something that can be really difficult, especially for small and medium-sized businesses. If you can have the time and the resource to implement account-based marketing, you're going to see some huge results. But that initial outlay of time in order to research, build the campaigns, everything, if that's time you can't be losing, then you may need to look at an alternative route. However, if you decide that actually you do have enough time to spend to create this content specifically for those accounts, then you are going to go a long way. Now, this is, I think, one of the errors that is all too often an error that can be avoided in marketing in general, and it's not aligning marketing and sales. Now, the good thing about account-based marketing is sales guys usually look after the accounts, and they're able to find out some of the specific information for marketing. Marketing is able to then provide sales with highly specific content for that individual account. Now, as long as you align sales and marketing and you smash those silos, you're going to be onto a winner, because that way you're singing off the same hymn sheet. When sales are pulling one way, the marketing pulling another way, and they're sort of creating content, but they're finding actually it's not that, doesn't resonate that well with the people they're trying to, the accounts that they're trying to target, then it doesn't work. You have to really align sales and marketing. Make sure they both understand, have buy-ins, because sales will understand the customer, and they'll ultimately be the ones who are responsible for converting that client. So as marketing, you need to be working really closely with them and smash those silos, because they will have ideas and thoughts because they're working in that market all the time. And the final sort of error that can be made is a lack of process and accountability. You need to have some clear defined processes when you're doing account-based marketing. By that, I mean who is responsible for what, how is the campaign going to be structured. So once this bit of content gets delivered, how long after is this bit of content going to be delivered? Who is going to be delivering that content? Who is responsible for the outcome? Is it the sales? Is it marketing? No, that is up to you in your individual organisation. But you have to have the processes in there. Okay, so we've mapped out the thing. I'll go through the sort of how you map out an account-based marketing program in a second. But it is important, as I go through that bit, you think about the processes and the touch points along the way in terms of who is responsible for what and when. Which leads on nicely then to the how you do it. Now, point one, so it's almost like six, maybe 7 points to this. Number one, you need to really discover and define your high-value accounts. Think a bigger economic picture. What is their propensity to buy and buy again? You need to understand who is the big players in the market. And the other thing is, who can you realistically target? If you're a startup, can you realistically go for a massive Fortune FTSE 100 business? Maybe you can. And that's great. But you do need to really understand what is the type of business that you can go for and that really needs your type of good and service. Define it, discover this. Spend time making sure that you are on the right road. Secondly, you want to make sure you research and map these accounts. Who are the key internal decision makers? How is the structure held? Without this research, without those key internal decision makers and structure assigned, How are you supposed to know who you're going to target? How are you going to do this personalization element of account-based marketing? The first part helps you discover, okay, this is the type of content, these are the issues in the market. Next one is identifying the people, so you can personalize the target. Now, once you've done that, you then go in and go, okay, I've got an idea, this is the sort of issues in the market, these are the people that need to be targeted. Okay, now this is the type of content we will produce. This is the messaging that we will use. These are the issues that we are going to address. This is how you split account-based marketing up. You've got to discover, research, and then define it. Once you've got all your content there, you know the people, you got the messaging. How are you going to distribute this? How are you actually going to clearly communicate this content with that potential audience, that decision maker, that this content exists for them, specifically for them? What channels are you going to use? Are there even specific rules around those channels, which means you can't necessarily use them? Prime example is email marketing and GDPR. Have you got the permissions to be able to contact people by email? Do you have to reach out via social first? Have you built a personal brand? Or do you build these personal relationships with people or your sales team? Again, this is where sales and marketing have to work hand in hand, because sales should understand the market in terms of actually how you can reach those key decision makers. Is it through events? Do you meet them at events first? Do you target them and say, they're going to this event, this person is going to this event, I need to be there in order to try and win that business? Once you've done that, you need to align and coordinate across your channels between marketing and sales. So something we talked about earlier, processes. Make sure those processes are clearly defined and make sure they're aligned and coordinated. I think the picture gets quite clear at this stage, okay, who is with what, but make sure you put it in writing. Make sure that people understand, because the big thing is, if people don't understand and they don't necessarily buy into it, then things get left behind, which actually defeats the whole model of account-based marketing. And finally, you want to make sure that you're measuring both individual channel success, overall content success, and actually on an account level as well. So on an account level, looking at all the different campaigns, have they actually converted, how close are they, do they get down the pipeline, where are we at, but also how was the success of each individual campaign? What was the bit of content that converted them? What was the bit of content that they first piqued their interest, that they first replied to? Things like that. What was the first bit of content that they actually engaged with? Different ideas. There are so many different types of content out there. I'm not going to define them in here because it would make this episode so long. But all these different types of content, if you think that bit of content you can create, so again, it's different to inbound marketing. You can create these same types of content that are absolutely available, but is it highly specific? And that is a difference. It is, instead of targeting, someone who works in the automotive industry, you're saying this specific Renault car, or this particular Renault garage, for example. These are the sort of things that you need to be looking at, and that's the difference, because that is what helps convert, and it helps helps the customer understand that you know the market. And when a customer understands that you know the market, they're much more likely to go with you. Hopefully that all makes sense. I'm a huge fan of account-based marketing, and it's something that now is something I've been doing a lot of work building up, sort of our content marketing funnels, and trying to work on our website and trying to get our website in our original marketing in the best possible shape. So now phase 2 is really pushing down this account-based marketing route to try and convert some of these high net value clients. And I think that you should do the same. Again, I'd love to hear from you as well. If you're implementing any of these marketing buzzwords, you've found value in what they mean. So thank you very much for listening. I'll be back next week with another Bitesize Buzzword, and I'll be back on Monday with another guest episode. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll speak to you very soon. Goodbye.
This podcast is part of the You Are the Media Network.